Hey champions, this is Usted, and we got another gameplay video for you here. This is a matchup between me and Ian. He's playing Idiris, I'm playing Malik. We got this request from one of our players in the community to show more gameplay videos of Idiris because she's a really good champion to start with. Even if you don't have a lot of the powerhouse cards, just being the champion she is, she gives you the opportunity to really come in and be aggressive without a lot of risk. I think that's really important, especially if you're new to the game. And part of the reason is standing behind her fireballs and being able to keep a distance from her opponent while still hitting them for 2 on a very regular basis. So Idris is playing with a heavy Giant Scorpion deck. If you don't have Giant Scorpions, there are a lot of cards that you can substitute in for them. Death Eaters are also really strong. Death's Companions are also very useful. But being able to hit for 2 from afar with Idris, and then being able to come in and attack anyone from almost anywhere with the Giant Scorpion is always very useful. So I'm running Underworld Dealings in this deck. Part of the biggest advantage I think Malik has is his opportunity to pay health and take advantage of some of these really powerful cards like Underworld Dealings, where you can now siphon through your deck and always keep yourself ahead of the curve. Being a few turns or a few rounds ahead of your opponent is always very useful. So, and part of the reason I pay very little health here is because I know I'm going to be hit by that fireball every single round. So even if it's just for 1, if it's for 2, whatever you can do to get a little bit extra card draw and siphon through your deck. That there, if you saw with the glare, that was Underworld Knowledge. Again, that's just an opportunity to draw a few more cards, keep myself a little bit faster than my opponent there. So one of the hardest things to deal with when it comes to playing against Idris is when she decides to stay back and not play and like not move herself and just throw fireballs at you round after round after round, because now you got to deal with this army that's slowly growing and there isn't a lot of opportunities for you to like kill them from afar. Cards like Jump are going to be very useful. If you can run dodges, those also help, because then you can get a little extra mobility. I was a little bit aggressive here. I decided to come in with the Meteorite. Part of the reasoning behind this is I know I can absorb that damage a little bit better than Idris can, and that way I deal with the Giant Scorpion and I don't have to come in and try to kill it next round. This is a little bit unfortunate for me because another Giant Scorpion hitting the table is always painful. Ian does a really good job here. He's probably had that Giant Scorpion for quite a while. Playing them all at once is never to your advantage. That's very much a risky novice mistake, because if you play them all very early on, then things like Meteorite can hit the table and decimate your entire army. And then you're sitting there without having to get the advantage of the summons. One of the things that's really painful here is the fact that I don't get to go first. Idris being able to take advantage of my slow nature and just put on a lot of aggression really early on. The advantage of having the Giant Scorpion on top of me here is there's very few moves that I can make right now to try to kill off that particular Giant Scorpion. Everything I do, if I decide to go after that Giant Scorpion that's on top of me, the other one's going to come in for the kill. If I deal with the one that's from far, then the one behind me is now going to be able to take advantage. Wherever I am, I'm pincered in a way. I can ignore them and go after Idris, but then at that point, I am once again dealing with a bunch of Giant Scorpions. Keep being aware of how much aura your opponent has is very useful, especially when you're playing against Idris or Nubia, Kendra too. You can, if you can keep ahead of the aura curve, then you can do a lot of damage. Demon Rage here, it's a perfect setup. Someone was actually asking me the other day about what advantage does Demon Rage has when it comes to the corner attacks. This is a perfect opportunity. Being able to hit both Giant Scorpions and to hit Idris for the 4 it's just a little bit too fun to not take advantage of. That's something Tsunami wouldn't be able to do. Demon Rage is great if you're playing against heavy Scorpion decks, because it can knock them out right away, and if you can stay in close, then that's one of the biggest things that the Scorpion deck fears. You constantly being able to put on the pressure. I'm now trying to calculate a way to deal with another Scorpion. This is now the 4th Scorpion of the game. They are very deadly and very painful to deal with, especially if they come out one after one after one. Yeah, I'm not a big fan playing against the Scorpion decks. They are very good. It plays a little bit more like playing chess. That's why Ian likes to say it's not about... it's less... very far away from how Genesis plays with other champions. When you're playing Idris Scorpions, you're playing a little bit more like chess. And I think that's a kind of a cool analogy here. Vampiric Kiss, again, like I was saying in previous videos, if you have the shot to get a Vampiric Kiss off, do it. The life gain is very useful, especially doing it against a summon, because then it's your opportunity to... there's very few things the summon can do to get out of that. And if you can get that 3 health without the risk of them stopping you, always take that advantage. Idris just needs to go for the kill. I've knocked out so many Scorpions. I'm sure at this point she doesn't have the opportunity to really remass that army. And once you see your opponent slowing down like that, this is your opportunity to try to come in for the kill. This is when you know you're getting to late game. When the creatures aren't as threatening, when the amount of aura spent around starts slowing down. And this is your opportunity to try to kind of get in some of those bigger things without the fear of your opponent being able to counter them. Now, something that I think would be very valuable for a Malik deck is Decoy Rabbit, because being able, if someone comes from my side, there's not a whole lot that Malik can do to oppose that. So Decoy Rabbit's a really great way to just be like, alright, I'm gonna get myself out of most situations here. Like a Rampage toss like that. If I had a Decoy Rabbit right now, I probably could have won the game. Oh, spoiler. But, yeah, the Rampage toss is really painful. Inferno Pits combo with that is a lot of fun. He's sitting at a lot more health than I am. If I had the health space, I probably would have dropped the second meteorite that's in my hand. Did a lot of damage, but this is kind of a fun thing to do. So the way the stack works in Genesis, each trigger ability goes onto the stack separately. So I did the 2 damage from the Rampage toss. Then I keep the toss on the stack without resolving it. Now I play a second Rampage toss, dealing the damage and keeping it on the stack once again. Then putting Cross Punch on top of that, dealing 1 more, another Cross Punch to deal 1 more, and then my basic attack to do 2 more damage. Because I double moved, I can't do the heavy attack. Now letting these resolves, the Cross Punch will hit, Cross Punch will hit. Now the toss will throw them into the Inferno Pit. The second toss, it doesn't say anything about the target still being within the awareness of Rampage toss. So the second toss will then trigger and still resolve appropriately and throw the person into the pits a second time, thus dealing another 4 damage. So that combo there, I dealt 4 from the Rampage tosses, 2 from the Concussion Punch, so that's 6, plus my basic attack, that's 2, plus that's 6, 8, and then 4 more from the Inferno Pit, so that was 12 damage. But now he's got me here, because now he's gonna just Rampage toss me into the Inferno Pit and then Fireball me from the side. And there's literally nothing I can do about this. Again, Decoy rabbits. If you have them, run decoy rabbits. They are so useful, especially in a very aggressive deck like Malik here. You need some sort of evasion. Otherwise, you're going to just be hit by their combo, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But that's game. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't really win this one. This is just game 1 of 2. We will do the second game next week. Bye.